What's up, everybody? This is Paulio Jr. And I know it's been a little bit since I've done anything electrical or solar panel related, anything like that. But what I wanted to show you was this kit this 45 watt solar panel kit that I purchased from Harbor Freight when it was on sale for about $1.20, $1.30, something like that. And so instead of using it actually comes with this standing bracket, which you could put, anywhere outside, on the ground and whatnot, and use it from there. I just said fuck it and just threw them on the roof. Just nailed them right into the roof, and they are a little bit dirty, but they are, capable of being clean and so forth. But even I've had them out there for a little bit now, but I can still clean them when I want. But they're still doing pretty well as far as charging up my deep cell batteries. So what we have is collectively it's 45 watts. So each panel is 15 watts. So each panel can produce 12 volts and then 1.25 amps. So collectively it would stay at 12 volts, and then I would get almost 4 volts. I could probably get when it hits it can go past its max, so it can go over 4 amps, which is nice. And so I just have them set up here. This is the best place, and what's nice is even when there's just a little bit of day break, it'll start going. It'll start charging up the batteries and whatnot. So, and I'll show you the charge controller and all that. So I just have it I did the best I could to make it look aesthetically pleasing. Have it going down the side of the window, and then going under here, and then going right into this basement window right there. And so I'm going to stop the video and show you what we have downstairs and show you what I can power right now with the batteries that I have. Okay, so here is where that one wire was coming in. Each panel had an individual wire, and they're actually all connected into basically a hub in the side panel on the house, and they all come in through here. So coming through this wire is, at full capacity, 12 volts and almost 4 amps, when there's full sunlight on it with no obstructions. And what this kit comes with is a charge controller. So back here we have, this is where the solar panels are coming in, and then this other side is where it's going to charge the battery. And that's really the main function of this charge controller, is to show you what the capacity as far as the voltage that the batteries can handle. So this wire right here are these two small guys right here. So the positive and the negative. And what I have are two 35 ampere 12 volt batteries connected together in parallel. So, and the parallel is basically, this is essentially one battery. So this is, even though they're two separate batteries, this is one, it is considered one 12 volt 70 ampere battery. So and all you have to do with parallel is just positive to positive, negative to negative. That's it. And this is considered one battery. So this is charging both batteries. It may not be charging it as quickly. You can get a hub from the Harbor Freight store and more panels, so you can hook up to 9 panels to it. So you would get 3 times as much power as what I'm getting right now. But like I said, we're still in the experimental phase. All this guy is right here. This is just the jumper cable, and this is just saying, hey, the voltage is a little bit low, but the meter is telling me that, I have 12.1 volts available to me. So, and from there, what I wanted to show you, which was really, I thought was pretty cool. This is my inverter, another Harbor Freight guy. And this is a Centec. It's a 750 watt / 1500 watt peak power inverter. And so you can actually connect this to either or. So since I'm already charging these guys, all I'm going to do is go negative. If I can get it on there. Come on. So we have our negative, and you might see a spark. Whether you do it either way, you might see a spark. But if not, cool. But that's typically the way you would do it. And so what I'm having right now are these batteries connected and going to this inverter. And now this inverter is off at the present moment. And now I press that, the inverter is on. So which means that I have electricity flowing, available to me, hopefully at minimum 750 watts available to me. And what I did was I actually just used, this is a 12-2 wire. And I bought this guy at at a Home Depot, and just stripped it and connected, the hot to, the hot to I'm sorry, the live wire, the hot wire to the hot, and the neutral to the neutral, and the ground to the ground, just like you would with any AC. So everything else here is DC, and then we're just going DC to AC. So this is our AC guy, and this is nothing permanent, but it's just I'm having that Romex cord go along this way, and then going up to right. I even have it going through some joists, but nothing permanent. So it's in this outlet box right here. So if I want whatever I can plug into here, I can use as long as the batteries are charged. So that's where basically all that is just running off the batteries. So I can charge, like for instance, this guy is an 18-volt battery charger, so which still requires regular AC. I can use that, charge that guy up, and go to town. So just an example. And I was using the batteries a little bit for a couple hours last night, so I'm going to show you. But what I have here is actually a hole going into, and the hole's a little, a little fucked up, but it's okay. This is just a surge protector going into my room, and seeing what I could power in my room, and seeing how long I could power it with two 35 ampere batteries at 12 volts. So I'm going to show you that setup and show you what you can power, and we'll go from there. All right, so now I want to show you the cool part, and what's cool, all this light is like showing all the dust that's coming up right now. But from below where I showed you, this is where the surge protector is going to. So this surge protector is powered by that inverter downstairs. And then this is my regular guy over here, just a regular AC guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this guy off, which is this guy. And all I'm going to do is just switch where it goes. So, and we're going to plug her into here. Oops, sorry if you can't see that. And and I could mount this up on the wall or whatever the case may be. But like I said, we're still just playing here. We're not playing with any panels. We're just going straight from the battery. And what's nice is that once you will get a warning from the inverter saying, man, this stuff gets dusty. Once the power is getting too low, you'll hear it. It'll start making a noise and kind of give you a heads up to turn everything off. So what I'm going to do is we're going to turn this guy on. And now we're going to see. So everything back here that's plugged in will now be running off the inverter. If it's enough. Oop, never mind, I'm sorry. That's got to go on. Duh. So that's back on. Computer on. Television on. And I have that light on there just to show you everything so it's not too dark, but computer's running up fine. Everything else is running fine. Let's see. And I turned it off, so I think. Oh, never mind. We're good. So the TV is coming on now. Should be, just as it usually does. And then also my speaker system, which is also on that surge protector. So, on. So all this is on right now. So I have my, so I have my television, my HD TV, my computer, my stereo system, everything that I would use on a daily basis. This is like my hub. I mean, it's not like super organized, but still my hub. And it will actually last probably a good. I had it going for 4 hours last night, and the only reason I turned it off was because I went to bed. But it ran for about 4 hours straight with no problems. So I was sitting here and, I had everything running off of here. So, I had this plugged in and I was charging my phone while having, the speaker, having the surround sound system, the stereo system set up, having the TV on, and just going about like I usually would on the computer, just playing around, doing whatever it is I do. So, but I guess, so what would happen, so let's say if I did put too much power into, if I was drawing too much power, if I plugged something else into here and it was too much power, it would shut off. But as it stands right now, everything that is being powered from the inverter, which is coming from the battery, which is being charged by the panels, everything that I have as far as what I use on a day-to-day basis runs perfectly well. And like I said, so far I've gotten 4 hours tops. So what I would like to do is, charge the, get the batteries charged fully, and then see how long I can get it. And then also, and also what I want to do is charge the batteries completely full and start at the beginning of the day, see how much that panel, see if I could actually stay on that throughout the entire day. But the main, the main thing of this, the main point of this whole thing is to have it so I can save a little bit of electricity. And there are definitely ways of going into the panel and so forth. And if you've seen from my previous video that, I was really I think I was using this guy over here, this little 12-volt battery, which I have being charged up here. And, so that's what I was just using every day. That's like a little 5-watt panel. That's pretty good. And it would just charge that every day. And I would just come home and charge my phone and little stuff on it. But so yeah, so I have all these things working, everything here. So even my external hard drive, when I pop that guy on, now that's on, I'm still okay, and I don't hear anything downstairs as far as a beep that's saying, hey, there's too much power being drawn and whatnot. So at the present moment, I'm running, the tower, the television, the speaker system. My external hard drive, I could charge my phone as well and be absolutely fine. So all of this has been converted to alternating current. There's no real, the only real regulators are what are built into the systems. So from up here, like I said, the inverter will turn off, or will start to give me a warning of when I'm losing power. And if there is too much power, the inverter will just turn off, and that's it. So, and then we'll go back downstairs, and I'll show you what else I can use, what else that charge controller has to offer as well, which is pretty cool. All right, so I still have everything powered on. So all I'm going to do first is turn off the inverter. Okay, inverter's off. I'm going to take and always be careful with these, because even if these two aren't connected, there's still a little bit of power in there that will eventually dissipate. But if they do touch, they will spark a little bit. So Now what we're doing is just completely separating this inverter, and I'm just trying to keep those plugs out of the way of each other. So that is just um, my little setup right now. And uh, when you're setting all these things up, make sure they're in a secure place and that you know at least relatively know what you're doing. But like I said, I don't have any actual regulators or anything like that. I do have voltage meters and things of that nature. But what's nice about this little charge controller is you don't have to, you can put it wherever you want, you know. And so right now, like I said earlier, this is just basically telling me since the sun is moving over, I'm getting a little bit more charge. So it's saying, okay, you have about 12 volts available to you. Um, and as that goes up, the amperage will go up as well. So that means that it's actually charging, which is nice. Um, and what's cool is they actually tell you. So this is where you would plug in your inverter, and that is powered by the battery. All of this is powered by the battery, and this charge controller also has a built-in feature is if it does draw too much power that it will blow. There's a 30 amp fuse back here. It will blow that fuse as well, and I already did that once and I had to replace it. Not a big deal, but um, and the USB guy always works. And if the panels are high enough and you don't have the battery up, you still can use some of these features. They won't be as powerful as using the batteries, but they will work if there's complete sun without any obstructions. Um, I would say what you can the USB you can definitely use, and maybe I used the 12 volt, but this 12 volt outlet they actually give you lights with these charge controllers, and they also give you these laptop charging accessories as well if you need them. But so here, um, also what you could do is just use um, so put everything exactly where it says. So this says that's 12 volt. So that's like where you would plug in just a regular. I mean, you could plug the inverter in here, but this is the inverter outlet. That's where I would plug in the inverter outlet. So, and then as we plug that in, we just lost some charge right there because now this is drawing however much. So let me see. Let me set this guy up as best as I can. You know what? Fuck it. One handed. So I'm going to pull this guy out. And you see it goes back. It's going to go back up to 12. So it's just telling you what it's drawing. So since we were just using it, it was at like 12.2, and it dropped a little bit because it's not fully charged. But this input on here is 12 volts, 10 amps. So as soon as we plug that in, it's going to draw. It's going to start wanting to draw some of that. But that's where, if you didn't want to use, if you didn't want to do what I'm doing, you can still use that inverter when you need it. If you don't want to go a super far length, and if this was really, and you want to be careful because you don't want to overload it. Say, for instance, if you plug in an inverter that's too high, and you try to plug something in, you're drawing too much from the battery. Like I said, the fuse will blow in the back. So, but other than that, the Harbor Freight system is actually pretty good. It has a built-in regulator in here that if the charging goes past, I think like 14.5, it'll turn itself off. But typically, you want to get the batteries to on a continue like for a day or two at a continual 13.0, 13.1 voltage that the batteries are carrying. And like I said, so these two batteries are simply one battery right now. And I'm using jumper cables. You can use terminal connectors that are a lot shorter. But I just do like that. It has this feature on here that's telling me, hey, it's low, but it'll still work. It'll still do the job. But that's really it. Just wanted to show you guys my setup, and these really inexpensive but pretty decent quality inverters and so forth. You can even buy these exact batteries at Harbor Freight, but they're always cheaper on eBay. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little setup, and there's going to be more, and there's going to be things that are going to be more permanent, and then moving past the experimental phase. So thanks for watching, guys, and I definitely have a lot more ideas and videos that are coming your way. So stay tuned. See ya.